Okay, so first off, how have things been going? Obviously, we know it's pretty tough conditions out there. Um, I joined in the CEO role in May of this year, and some of the immediate focuses that I had when I came into that role were number one, to build community trust. I think that's gone pretty well. We've been delivering a lot of updates and sharing more insights with the community, plus delivering weekly roundups. I think they've been pretty effective. We've been putting on, and if you've not seen in our news section on the website, you can see what we're delivering on a weekly basis. We've also been liaising with a lot of our investors and community on some of the ideas that we've been developing. And another thing that helps with the trust factor is obviously things like security. So we've been delivering a lot around security to make sure that everything's tight. And that includes audits. It also includes penetration testing of all of our platforms. The next thing that we were focused on was growing the price. So that's obviously been fairly difficult because we're in a pretty extensive bear market. But pleased to say that we're still up from where we were in May, basically before the bear market. So that's a good sign, I think, that we're actually up compared to where we were at the start of the bear market. Growing the reward pool is a big focus as well. So the reward pool, the B&B reward pool, has been fairly stable. We obviously would all like to see that go higher. But overall, we've been paying out fairly strong APRs, and particularly on the decks as well. They've been pretty exceptional. We've been delivering over 30% APRs across the board on the decks as an average. So that's worked pretty well. Gaining new investors was another focus, and pleased to say that we have increased our hold account despite, again, a pretty difficult market. So again, that's a good sign of things to come. Developing the ecosystem was the fifth and final focus that I brought up, when I entered the role, and I think that's gone particularly well. We've delivered a load of new products to utility, and we have over 15 ways to earn now. So I think all in all, it's been a difficult period with the market, but we're in a really good position, and a lot of our metrics have gone up even with the market conditions. So I'll load up the second slide, which is just a bit of a recap of our vision, and that's what I want to touch on before we then dive into what our strategy is going forward. So I'm just going to load up the second slide so you can follow me on that. It's loaded now. Okay, so in terms of our vision is to improve lives by making it easy to generate passive income for anyone, anywhere, anytime. It's really about access, ease, and helping people all around the world get more income through what we develop. It's passive income made easy, as we say. So when it comes to the time factor, it's fast to invest, and we're looking at adding fiat ramps and other things to make it even easier to onboard as an investor. And as you'll know yourselves, it's really quick to collect your earnings. So that's a strong aspect. Access. Anyone with a device can access this investment into HODL and their earnings. So access is really solid. We do want to make it broader with again, the fiat ramps and the app that we're looking at. Knowledge. So we've used a lot of knowledge and research and developed a really strong, robust ecosystem. We see it as one of the big problems people have when they want to generate passive income is the time and knowledge and energy that's required, and knowledge of business and finance, etc., to set up a passive income stream. But with HODL, you can just effectively make an investment of any size and you're straight into it. So we've used our knowledge to kind of set that up. So that's really a summary of our vision, is to really be a highly accessible, fast, and well-structured passive income ecosystem. So let's have a look at the next slide, which is, I'll just upload that now. That's live. Yeah, so with HODL, we've got quite a lot going for us and a lot of things that we're working on. So first off, I think, our brand name's pretty spectacular. It's arguably the biggest brand name in crypto. So that's something strong we've got going for us. You get B&B rewards, of course, reflections. We've got a really strong NFT range that can actually stake to earn as well. We also have our own swap where you can earn fees, staking pools, yield farming, our own investor dashboard, across the board average of over 30% APY. I would say the best website in DeFi and so much more. So there's a lot already in our ecosystem, but there's also a lot of things that we're working on. So we're working on some new ways that you can earn, which some of those I'll touch on this evening. We're working on more contract innovations. The work has actually begun now on developing the HODL app. We are going to be building our own poker game, Texas Hold'em. We're going to be developing a market making and arbitrage bot platform, and we've actually been trialing some of those this week and last week. We're adding more utility to our NFTs, registering the company, adding fiat ramps, developing a HODL vault, and so much more. So lots of plans for the future, and we've already got a huge amount of quality stuff within our ecosystem. So the future's really bright. Just going to upload the next slide and then we're going to dig into some of the specifics. That's uploaded. Okay, so what does the future HODL? So I think that's really the key here is what are we doing next? What are we going on to? First off, I think it's important to recognize that this is a difficult market. So I've uploaded a graph there that you can see where 2021 we reached the crypto market cap reached 2.9 trillion. We're currently floating around the 1 trillion. So around about 2/3 of the money that was in crypto at the height of 2021 is temporarily out of the out of the market cap of crypto. So there's so much money to come flooding back in, and it's predicted by 2025 it's going to reach around 6.7 trillion. So it's been a big dip, but we're going to see a huge upswing over the next few years. And I think that's been one of our key focuses is positioning ourselves for the inevitable upswing that's ahead of us. So I'm just going to upload the next slide, which is going to show you some of the stuff that we're going to be focused on in our strategic direction. So that's uploaded now onto the thread. So in terms of our strategy, obviously we're in a bear market and it's difficult to predict how long it's going to go on for. These are pretty unprecedented times in terms of inflation around the world and recovery from COVID. So we have to be mindful of that. We don't know how long it's going to go on for, so we have to be quite smart around what we do in this period and cautious with how we make our investments, but also ambitious about growing. We do have really ambitious plans, and the roadmap on the website will reflect that. And to execute those plans, we're going to need capital to drive the growth of the project, the development of the project, and of course, marketing. One of the other focuses that you'll see on the strategy is we're looking to increase the liquidity in HODLX and reduce sell pressure. So HODLX has been a really useful project and part of our ecosystem for during the bear market particularly. So we want to make sure that it receives the support it needs. Liquidity is one area we're looking at along with sell pressure. So there's a couple of things we're going to be delivering on between now and the end of the year to support that. So the plan itself is we're going to be developing our offerings on the DEX to further align with our strategic needs. So we've done a lot of reviewing of what's going on our DEX platform, and we're going to be making some changes to better align the DEX to our strategic needs. So I'll break down how that plays out in the next slide. We're going to be focusing on driving NFT sales because they're a great way to raise capital for growth, marketing, rewards, and also buybacks. So I'll explain how that's going to work. And we're going to develop our ecosystem to reduce sell pressure and increase buy pressure, both on HODL and HODLX. So I'm just going to upload the next slide and then I'll break down how we're going to do that. That's uploaded. So point number 1 on our plan is developing the offerings on our DEX to further align with our strategic needs. So first thing we're going to do is adjust the multipliers on the platform to align with how we want to support the project. The first thing we're going to do is increase the earnings that you can make when you farm HODL X. So that's a great way to encourage more investment into providing liquidity for HODL X. So we'll be ramping up the earnings on farming HODL X. We'll also be ramping up the earnings available when you farm HODL. So we're aware and we're trying to look for a solution where maybe we'll be able to find a way to avoid the 10% tax on farming HODL. If we can, we'll deliver on that, but in the interim, we'll be ramping up the earnings available on farming HODL. So both of those will provide more liquidity to our ecosystem by giving more reward. One of the ways we're going to achieve that is actually by removing support for BUSD. So we're going to be focusing, HODL is the highest paying BNB reward token in history. So we want to focus on BNB. And therefore we're going to actually reduce the multipliers and the earnings on the BUSD farms so that more focus is put on the BNB farms and more rewards are paid out by the BNB farms. The final thing is we're going to make a slight bump on the staking for HODL X, as we feel that's a little bit low, and again we want to reduce the sell pressure. So the multipliers, the earnings are going to be reflected. We're aiming to announce those tomorrow, as we have some pools ending and make those updates fairly quickly. So all of that will be announced in the community, but again it aligns with our strategic direction, which is to increase the liquidity for HODL X, more support for HODL, and more support for HODL X staking to reduce sell pressure. So that's the first step. Then I'm going to load up the next slide, which is around how we're going to drive our NFT sales. So that's uploaded. So the first thing is we're going to be launching 2 absolutely incredible pools, staking pools. The first being that you'll be able to stake your HODL hand NFTs and earn 4 trillion HODL. So that's going to be by far the biggest staking pool that we've delivered, 4 trillion HODL, and that's by staking your HODL hand NFTs. The next thing that we're going to be doing is launching a pool where you can stake your NFTs to earn HODL X. That's also going to have a huge reward of 1.5 million HODL X. So these are massive rewards for staking your NFTs, which will help increase buy pressure on our NFTs, but it will also stimulate capital for growth, marketing, our reward pool, and buybacks. We're going to be making some adjustments to the NFT fund distribution to align with our strategy. So the 25%, so a quarter of all funds raised through the sales of NFTs, will go to the BNB reward pool. 40% will go to the project funds to allow us to invest into things like development, registering the company, everything that comes to do with operating HODL. 15% will go towards marketing, and then 12.5% will go to buybacks on HODL. So the reason why we're doing that is because obviously we're putting a lot of reward for HODL up into the pool to stake the NFTs. So we're going to be putting some of the funds into buybacks. And then finally, 7.5% of the funds raised from NFTs will go towards buyback and burn of HODL X. So again, we're providing a good chunk of HODL X as rewards when staking NFTs, but we're going to make sure that we're buying back HODL X as well with some of these funds and burning it. So that again ties in neatly with our strategy and gives a huge set of incentives for people to buy and stake their NFTs. Moving on to the next slide. This is about how we're going to develop our ecosystem to reduce sell pressure and increase buy pressure. So How are we going to do that? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look to develop a option for our investors. When they're claiming their rewards, they will be able to choose to claim HODL. Now, to again increase because there's no tax on HODL, we're also going to add a bonus amount on top to incentivize people to reinvest and claim HODL when they're claiming their rewards. So that's the first thing we're looking at. Reinvestments into HODL. We're going back to placing those buys on the chart. I think that's important in the bear market that we get those buys on the charts. The reason why we removed them from being on the chart was that the gas fees are higher when you have the buying element involved in the reinvestment. So we've thought about this, and what we're going to do is we're going to give away an additional 10% HODL when you reinvest on top of the tax-free amount. So that's another incentive, and it supports the fact that there will be slightly higher gas fees for it making the buy on the chart, but it seems to strike the balance neatly there because we're going to put more buys on the charts and we're going to give the investor a top up to support them with the slightly increased gas fees. We are looking at developing something in the contract whereby if you make daily buys, so if I was to make a buy on a Monday, then the Tuesday, then the Wednesday, then you get some compounded bonuses. So those percentages will go up each day. You get a bonus amount of HODL when you are making daily buys for up to 7 days in a row. We're looking at adding fiat on-ramps to the platform to make it easier for anybody to invest into HODL and HODLX. We're going to be adding an option whereby you can swap your HODL for NFTs, a bit like how you can swap HODLX for NFTs. Again, that just gives a further utility for HODL, and it reduces sell pressure because there's something quite effective you can do with it when particularly there are some amazing pools in operation. We may look to burn some of that, but also that can be used in future pools if we give away HODL. We're also going to be increasing the discounts for when you swap HODLX for the NFTs. So basically when you go onto the platform, the DEX, you'll get a higher discount for trading in HODLX for NFTs. So again, more interest and drive towards our NFTs, but also a great way to reduce sell pressure on the HODLX by giving you a discount on NFTs. So that's slide 10. I'm just going to upload the next, and then we're going to move to the AMA. So I wanted to give you guys an update on some of the things on our roadmap that we're working on, and that's now been, I'll just double check, but that's been uploaded to the thread. So we're going to be registering our company, as you know, that's been progressing. There's a lot of paperwork that we've actually completed, so it's now the middle of September, but it might be possible that by the end of this month we will actually have a fully registered company. So that'll be fantastic. We'll share more details when it's completed, but there's going to be some additional work completed by the legal team. An example being they will do a review of both HODL and HODLX as to whether they are utility tokens or securities, and also advise us on that. So we're looking to drive and achieve utility status for both tokens. We're also implementing anti-money laundering policies, which puts us ahead of the curve of pretty much 99.9% of projects out there. But the way things are going, everyone's going to have to do anti-money laundering in not too distant future. So we want to get out in front on that. And then there's a few other things which we'll announce that the lawyers are putting together, and it will help us with attracting investment. The second thing is our market making and arbitrage bots. So most charts that you'll see, certainly on centralized exchanges, use market makers, which are bots that basically buy and sell in small increments to make sure there's no gaps on the charts. We stopped using them on some of the exchanges we're on because the costs are so prohibitive. However, we've been piloting systems that you can actually operate that feed the bots into the different platforms that you're listed on. So it's a more elegant and cost-effective solution. So we've been trialing those this week. That will increase our volume significantly and put us alongside a lot of 99% of the projects that are using them. And then in addition to that, these same tools can act as arbitrage bots for us. So if one of our exchanges spike, we'll be able to pull a small amount of profit, and some of that will be able to go to the reward pool. Now, a big benefit here is that you'll then basically smooth out your pricing across all the different places you're listed. So people will have more confidence in the price because it's more stable, and it will also feed into the wallets like Trust Wallet and SafePal more stably as a result, because they take an aggregate from all the different listings. And then the other side of it is the increase in volume and the profits from arbitrage staying within the ecosystem. So that's going to be a really, really exciting thing once we can get on top of that. And then finally, the app. So we're looking, and we've already designed an absolutely beautiful app that will change the game and really cement us as the leader for passive income and with our brand. So Paul has actually started work on the app, and we're going to be sharing some updates as that progresses. Then, before we move into the AMA, there's just one more thing I want to share with you guys that we're working on. As Columbo says, one final thing. Just posted that. So yeah, we're actually in the middle, and it won't take us too long. So we'll be able to announce this soon. But we're going to be adding an amazing utility to our NFTs, and that's that they will unlock access to an auto compounding pool on the DEX. So we're going to be offering auto compounding with our NFTs, which is really cool. So as a leader in passive income, we'll be adding this utility to the NFTs so that you'll be able to enter, if you hold a HODL hand NFT, to high APR pools that use auto compounding. So that's going to be coming, I hope, in the next week, and we'll give further updates on that. But it's nice that we'll be moving into offering auto compounding and adding this pretty exciting utility to our NFTs too. So that's just a quick update on what's been going on, what we're focused on, and our strategic direction. I hope that's useful. We will share, we've recorded this and we'll share it out so everybody who around the world who's on different time zones can catch up and watch the video and see everything that we're working on. But overall, I think a lot has happened in the last 4 months. Huge amounts of development, a lot to be excited about. We're a very committed team. We've got a great brand and amazing community, so thank you for that. And the best is yet to come, so keep holding, because there's so much more to come. But we really are starting to piece together now something pretty special. And if we sort of think forward even just 3 or 6 or 12 months, given what we've achieved over the last 3 to 4 months, it's going to be quite spectacular. So really excited, and yeah, happy to open up now if anyone has any questions. I'm not going to lie, I might need some some help with, this is my first Twitter Spaces, so let me know if you're struggling to fire a question in. Shippers, does that work? You should be able to speak now, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to send that in to see how it worked. There's no question from me. You basically explained everything, mate. Everything's spot on.
Thank you. Yeah, no worries. I think we would
Can you
do a
hear
bit
me?
of an update. Yeah. Hey, Keith.
How are we doing, Adam?
I'm good.
So
I'm good.
I have a couple questions. The first one is this. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that when you diverted reinvestments to the developer's wallet, the one of the benefits of that was essentially that reinvestment claims then didn't drain the B&B pool. So if we're going to start putting reinvests back on the chart, that then will, every claim, whether it's a B&B claim or a reinvest claim, will therefore be reflected in the pool. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's something that we want to try and see how it goes because you're correct. One of the disadvantages, though, of how it's working currently is that we're having to top up the tokens that are on the contract to cover the tokens that are distributed for reinvestment. So we're kind of depleting. Obviously, we've got a significant supply remaining, but it is eating up the supply. So, and the other side of it is that because the B&B rewards are fractional, dependent on your stake in HODL, the B&B would still go out, whether it remains in the pool or not. So it effectively just would give everybody else a slightly higher amount by leaving it in the pool. It would still be divvied up and paid out as a total. So it's not that it would dry up any quicker. It just means that people get a little bit more reward. But we want to see how it goes because obviously in a bear market you see a big drop in the volume. So and yeah, as I say, we've I feel that the rate that it's getting through tokens is a little bit aggressive right now. So we're going to try reverting, but with a bonus to incentivize people to do it and put the buyers on the chart. And obviously, because we're delivering this strategy to really ramp up our NFT sales, a quarter of the funds raised will go to the pool. So hopefully, actually, the pool will grow anyway because of how we're sort of aligning the strategy. But yes, you're correct in how the contract will operate when we test this change.
Okay, and one other question about the reward pool, because, and again, I'm not saying that I think putting the reinvests on the chart will be good, obviously, for the capital price. I'm just trying to understand the trade-offs.
Yeah.
I guess my other concern is the HODL X claims that will provide a bonus in HODL X. I like the idea. My concern is that basically people are going to flip that HODL X for B&B and pocket the difference.
Yeah. So it's something we're looking at, but it would be a small percentage bonus. We've also looked at whether the bonus can be paid in other methods as well. So that's still got to be slightly ironed out. I think that's one of the challenges you have with the fact that it's a zero tax token. So a few bits still iron out with that, but yes, it is something we've looked at and discussed because that is a possibility.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you answering my questions, Adam, and I will yield the mic then.
Thanks, Keith. If you've got a question, just let me know and I'll open up your mic. Yeah, you should be able to speak now, mate. I told you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm alright. There is any timeline you can give about the poker game?
Not with a level of confidence I'd want to give you because there's still so much to do. So
Okay.
the app is in development along with a few other bits and pieces, and then the goal is that the poker will follow. But I'm going to be speaking with Paul and the development team to see if there's a way that we can accelerate that. So over the next week, or certainly during September, hopefully have an update on that, because it would be nice to. I mean, we kind of want everything now. Like, I'd like to have the app now and the poker now, and so we're going to see if there's we're going to see if there's something we can do to speed it all up.
I'm just curious. About. I know how many things you want to put out at the same time, and it's not possible. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I didn't follow. I know. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Pleasure. But yeah, I think everyone's excited about the poker, and it'd be a great revenue stream. So it has, we're really keen on that. And Paul himself is a fairly avid poker player. He used to play an awful lot, so he's obviously a brilliant developer. So he's really keen to make that happen. So yeah, well, I'll be meeting with the team this week about the development side of things and sharing some updates. But hopefully we can find a way to accelerate the poker while still delivering on the app and a few other things.
Other question is, when we swap HODL token to purchase the NFTs, it will be pre-minted or it will be minted a new one?
So they are pre-minted, but we're probably going to increase the amount of NFTs in those pools. And we'll probably, just to sort of have some fun with the community, we might do some prizes around NFTs people pull out of those pools, so that there's some sort of luck and prizes to be earned in those pools as well. In the future, we may come up with a way to mint them on the fly, but yeah, that we're going to need that would be quite a big job, and it would need a lot of time and potentially a lot of development. So it's not possible at this stage, but it might be in the future. Because obviously, you'd have to swap HODL for BNB and then interact with the contract, and it could get a bit fiddly, but it's something hopefully we'll be able to do in the future.
Will be amazing. Thanks, man. Thanks.
No problem. And the good thing about it as well is, we've obviously got a 10,000 NFT range, and we're going to be, when we did our calculations around the APRs, we're going to offer some amazing APRs on these new pools. But we're coming at it from a number of angles. We're going to make sure that some of the funds that we generate through NFT sales go back into buybacks, to support the ecosystem and the sustainability of distributing these rewards. The HODL X buybacks will be burned, which is pretty cool. But the HODL ones, they can be used as well, or some of them, I should say, some of the tokens that we receive through buybacks or for trade-ins on NFTs. Some of those can be used for reward pools in the future. So it becomes far more sustainable, because
yes,
it's all supporting itself and each aspect of that kind of distribution model.
Sorry, just remind me, the new HODL X pools is starting tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, so
Okay.
There are 4 NFT pools running right now.
Yeah. One finish tomorrow, 2 finish tomorrow.
So there's two pools for HODL X, staking NFTs to earn HODL X, and two pools for staking HODL. Sorry, for stake HODL to earn stake NFTs to earn HODL. Sorry, one of them, from memory, three of them will close tomorrow around 7 p.m. UTC from memory. One of them will stay open, which is the HODL one, and that runs until the 15th of October. So we'll be launching a new HODL X pool for staking NFTs and a new HODL pool, and they will run till the middle of December for 90 days.
Fantastic.
And I don't know if you caught it, but there's going to be 3.5 trillion HODL in the HODL pool and 1.5 million HODL X. So it's big prizes. And obviously the beautiful thing as well about earning the HODL and the HODL X is that when you earn that, you can then use that to stake or to buy NFTs or to bet or to get BNB rewards on the HODL or to get reflections. So the earning doesn't stop with what you earn from staking the NFTs, because what you earns as well. So it's quite something. I think they're going to fly when these pools are launched, because these pools are far juicier than any pools we've launched in the past. But we're happy to, because I think we found a model that's more sustainable with how we're going to operate buybacks and so on.
I'd like to actually ask a follow-up question regarding the pre-minted NFTs for the pools.
Yeah.
While the contract currently requires that the NFTs be pre-minted, have you given any thought to deactivating the bots when you print for the pools? For a couple of reasons. One, to kind of keep it a bit of mystery, but also, if you're if you're minting a large batch of these and you happen to get, an epic hand, I can see the competition for the pool getting rather wild at that point.
Yeah, so I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head. It kind of cuts both ways, because people might see stuff they really want, and that drives engagement. When I was thinking about it earlier on, because there's going to be a significant number of NFTs in both pools, so that the variety is increased. I did have in mind, just when I was thinking about it myself, of turning off the bots. Otherwise, there's going to be I don't know, I think it's around 200 NFTs will be minted. So yeah, I guess there's pros and cons of that. The other thing is that they will be distributed when you withdraw them from the pool in a random order. So you don't get the opportunity to control what you get. And if you really want, you can always go and have a look on NFT Key or the contract itself and see what NFTs are in the pool. So I don't think we can kind of hide what are in there, because it's obviously blockchain. But yeah, I think that's something to reflect on, and I can see pros and cons of showing everybody the NFTs that get loaded into the pool and the excitement that will bring, but equally the benefits of keeping that a bit of a mystery. So I guess we got to decide which is the best option.
But when you pre-minted NFTs, if the epic one is come out, you will add that one to the contract, and after it will be a lucky dip, or whoever take it first, take it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will distribute the NFTs randomly. So you'll yes, if an epic one goes in, then it will be randomly purchased by trading in your HODL or HODL X. But Keith was sort of saying, is it a good thing to show all the NFTs that we put in the pool, or to not, and that's something we'll have to decide on. I guess if some really rare ones come out, people are going to be wanting to, get involved. But equally, if they don't, maybe it'll put people off. So pros and cons, I guess. Some good questions from Keith, and I told you. Thank you, guys. I think Keith can read my mind. He knows the stuff that I'm laying awake at night trying to work out. If anybody's got a question, just raise your hand. Otherwise, if we're all covered, we'll shut down and yeah, we'll share the presentation, as I say, so you can have a flick through in your own time, and we'll share the recording as well, so everybody will get a chance to get fully up to speed on everything that's going on. But if you've got anything else, just let me know. We'll open up. Okay, we'll probably close it there then, but thank you for joining. We'll get the recording put together and sent out over the next day or two. But yeah, thanks for joining. A lot of exciting things happening. You're going to get some good updates this week. Massive NFT pools, so get loaded up on those NFTs because you want to get into the pool right at the start when the APRs are at their highest. So have your NFTs at the ready for tomorrow when we launch these new spectacular pools. A reminder on that, so that's 3.5 trillion HODL to be earned up until around the middle of December, and 1.5 million HODL X. So we're aiming to put those live tomorrow in conjunction with the current ones finishing, plus some of the other things that I've mentioned in the presentation. So we'll get that out ASAP, and yeah, keep hodling on, guys. But yeah, appreciate your time, and I hope to catch you all again in the near future. Thanks, guys.